Alright, so let's get started with drawing the front view of the upper leg. I want to show you guys the muscle insertions first and foremost because it's important. To the left we have the vastus lateralis, which attaches from the femur down into the patella. On the right hand side we have the vastus medialis, which again attaches from the femur and wraps around and curves into the patella. And then in the middle we have the rectus femoris, which attaches from the pelvis and comes down into the patella as well. These three muscles are known as your quad muscles. Now, on top of those muscles, there is the tensor fascia lata and the sartorius that creates kind of a V shapes that wraps around those quad muscles, just like so. Now we sketch in this femoral triangle, which sits up in the upper inner thigh, and we draw in the rest of the adductors by using this triangular shape. And basically you don't need to really know the internal muscles because a lot of fat is deposited here, so what's really important is the form. Okay, so we're going to drop down the opacity, and now we're going to do a draw over of these muscles. And now I'm kind of exaggerating them and showing how both the fat and skin cover it. And once I go in and create a better contour for these muscles, I'm going to go in and also detail the form of it by drawing in my contour lines as shown here in just a moment. So we want to show how the muscles have this bulging form and how they kind of insert into one another. And notice they kind of look like teardrop shapes. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and label these muscles for you guys. There's the rectus femoris. On the right we have the vastus medialis, and on the left hand side we have the vastus lateralis. So with some quick color coding we can more easily distinguish the different muscles and help us visualize it. Alright, so now let's move into the side view. First we're going to point out the greater trochanter because a lot of muscles connect to that and insert there. So first we start off with the gluteus medius, which sits right on the top, and it's part of the overall butt muscles. And then we have the gluteus maximus, which sits to the rear, and it's the larger of the muscle group that gives most of the volume. So we're going to label that as well. And then near the front we have the tensor fascia lata, which is another important muscle to the leg, and it kind of sits somewhat on the front plane. And then we're going to drop in the iliotibial tract. Sorry for spelling that wrong there, but that's just a band that runs from the greater trochanter all the way down into the knee as shown. And now I'm going to drop in the rectus femoris, and I'm also going to drop in the vastus lateralis, which we both learned in the front view, but this is how it looks in the side view. And I really stress that you should draw the muscles at all the different views so you can really understand the form. And we're also going to drop in the biceps femoris here in the back, and again that kind of connects to the pelvis and comes down into the knee area. Alright, now I'm just going to basically turn down the opacity and do a quick draw over everything and make everything color coded and pretty looking. So just, feel free to watch how this goes, but I do want to mention that I add in a little bit of the fat as well as I'm doing this final pass. I'm basically not only showing the muscle still, but also trying to show more of the form as if there was skin and fat over everything as well. Alright, now that we got all the colors in there, I'm just going to go ahead and make that text a little bit bolder for you guys to see, and that's the side view. Alright, so moving on to the back view, we're going to start off with our hamstrings. And the first muscle that we draw on here, that is your semimembranosus. And then on top of that is your semitendinosus. And those are the muscle groups on the left hand side. They connect to your lower leg and up into the pelvis. And then we have the right part of the hamstring that also connects to the same region in the pelvis and also to the lower leg. And these muscles allow the knee or the leg to bend and straighten. And so we have the short head muscle there, and the long head muscle sits on top of that. All four of these combined together create the hamstrings. Now in the inner thigh, we go ahead and draw in the adductors, and those are connected to the pelvis. Please disregard what I write here. I was looking at this a lot and just had it backwards. So these are our adductors over here to the left. And then on the outside, we have our vastus lateralis. And lateralis means it's out to our outside. So that's how you can remember that. And please don't make the mistake that I made. Alright, now let's go ahead and draw in the gluteus maximus, which covers a lot of these muscle insertions. And it just sits right up there on the pelvis, just like that. And then I also draw in the gluteus medius as well, which sits right on top of the gluteus maximus and starts to wrap around into the side plane. Okay, so we're going to drop down the opacity and then do our final draw over, cleaning up the lines and showing a little bit of the fat. And in this stage, I also want to show just the contour for the shapes of the muscles, just so we get a feeling for the volume. And again, we go ahead and color code that and make that look a little bit easier for you guys to see. I also add in the other side just for the visual effects, but that's it. So I've preached this in my other videos as well, but the only way to cement this information is to practice it. So let's go ahead and draw a few of these figures. And the thing here is just to isolate the part of the body that you're focusing on. So it's just this upper point of this leg. So I don't even draw the lower leg or the torso. I'm just trying to understand the basic forms and folds that are created by each of the muscles in its insertion, and just seeing how it presents when someone is flexing or doing some kind of movement. So I do a couple and I compiled them, and I hope you guys just enjoyed seeing that process, and I really encourage you guys to do the same to get better at this.